Good morning, fifth grade. We're going to start by going over some of the units in the customary system for weight. These are some pictures I received. So if you were to measure the weight of a car, you might use tons because of how large it is. If you were to measure something in pounds, silencio measured, you would probably use a scale to record how many pounds something is. You use for most things that are not very, very small. And then I saw in Ariana's work, if you're talking about small weights, you often use ounces, like when you're measuring the weight of many different spices. So today we're going to talk about how we can convert or move between pounds and ounces, tons and pounds, and back and forth. So here are some things you need to know. 16 ounces equals 1 pound, or 1 pound equals 16 ounces. That is because ounces are much smaller than pounds, so it takes 16 of them to equal 1 pound. 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton, or 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. So when we talk about tons being super large for super heavy things, we can now understand that 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. All right, so here's our first challenge for today. It's called the weight of a blue whale. Blue whales, the largest mammal in the world, weigh an average of 5,800 pounds when they are born. After that, they gain about 200 pounds per day. Approximately, how much will a baby blue whale weigh in tons 30 days after being born? Right now, I would like you to think about what are some things you notice and wonder from the problem. Here are some of my notices and wonders. When a blue whale is born, it weighs an average of 5,800 pounds. The whale will gain 200 pounds per day. We want to know how much the whale will weigh 30 days after being born. Instead of expressing the weight of the whale in pounds, we want to express it in tons. Here are some wonders. How do you convert between pounds and tons? How do you calculate how much the whale will weigh in pounds 30 days after it is born? Will the number of tons be bigger or smaller than the amount of pounds? So here is the problem again. I'm going to give you an opportunity to pause it and solve this on your own. Here's the problem. If you want to see it, I'm going to give you time to think about it. All right, so when the whale is born, it weighs 5,800 pounds. And then it gains 200 pounds per day for 30 days. So I want to know how much weight that is after 30 days. So I could add 230 times, but that seems inefficient. So if I want to just do repeated addition like that, I can multiply 200 times 30. And this is easy. I could do 2 times 3 is 6 and add the zeros, which gives me 6,000 pounds is how much the whale is going to gain. So let's add up how much the whale is going to gain to its birth weight, which is 5,800 pounds. So let's do that. So I have 5,800 pounds plus 6,000 gives me 11,800 pounds. Now, in the problem, it's saying the word approximately, which reminds us we want to round or estimate that amount. So if I want to convert that to tons, let's start just by estimating that. What would 11,800 round to if I'm rounding to the nearest thousand? Well, if here's the thousands place and I look next door to the 8, I would get 12,000. So the whale after 30 days is going to weigh approximately, this is like the sign for approximately, 12,000 pounds. But I want to convert that to tons because it's saying how much will the whale weigh in tons. So we're going to do the same strategy that we did when we were doing distance in the customary system, which was make two equivalent fractions. So I'm going to set this up. We have two equivalent fractions. And I have pounds, tons, pounds, tons. And remember, it has to match. So wherever I put the tons, they have to be in the same spot. In this case, they're both in the denominator. Wherever I put the pounds, in this case, the numerators, I'm going to put it in the same spot. So if I think back to what we know that 1 ton is the same as 2,000 pounds. So over here in my second fraction, I'm going to put what I know in the problem. The whale weighs approximately 12,000 pounds. So now this is an equivalent fraction. How do I get from 2,000 to 12,000 using multiplication? I multiply by 6. 2,000 times 6 is 12,000 pounds. So I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. 1 ton times 6 gives me 6 tons. So 12,000 pounds is the same as 6 tons. So the whale weighs approximately 6 tons. And we know the number has to get smaller because tons are so much heavier than pounds. So it only takes 6 of them to equal the approximate weight of the whale, which is 12,000 pounds. All right, let's try a second problem to figure out what we can do. It says, it's called chocolate cake. Miss K is baking a gigantic chocolate cake for her best friend's birthday. At the store, she notices that she can buy chocolate by the pound or by the ounce. She can either buy 1 pound blocks of chocolate for $3 each, or she can buy 8-ounce bars of chocolate for $2 each. If she needs 5 pounds of chocolate, which is the better deal? I want you to pause and write down things you notice and wonder from the problem. Here are some things I noticed and wondered when I was trying to solve this problem. We can buy chocolate by the pound or by the ounce. We have 2 choices. 1 pound of chocolate costs $3 each. 8 ounces of chocolate costs $2 each. For the chocolate cake, we need 5 pounds of chocolate. I wonder if it is better to buy the chocolate by the pounds or by 8-ounce bars. How can I convert between pounds and ounces and pounds? So again, here is the problem. You are going to go ahead and pause it and solve it on your own. I might recommend making a T-chart to help you. Here is the problem in case you want to look at it as you're processing what to do. All right, let's go over this problem. So she needs 5 pounds of chocolate. I need 5 pounds of chocolate to make the cake. So if I'm going to buy 1-pound blocks, we know, let's make a little T-chart here. Oops, that's kind of messy. We know if I have pounds and I have money, 1 pound of chocolate costs $3. And I need 5 pounds of chocolate. So how much does that cost? Well, I can think about it. I can roll my 3s 5 times. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 5 pounds of chocolate is going to cost $15. Now we want to see if that's cheaper or more expensive than the other situation, which is I can buy 8-ounce bars of chocolate for $2 each. But I need to know how many 8-ounce bars would that equal in terms of 5 pounds. So I need to convert 5 pounds of chocolate into ounces to see how many that might mean. Because if I make another chart like this, I know I have ounces and I have money. 1 8-ounce bar is $2 each. Oops, is $2 each. Okay, but I don't know how many ounces are going to equal 5 pounds, so I need to do that. I'm going to set up 2 equivalent fractions like I've always done. So I'm going to go 1 pound is equal to how many ounces? Well, if you remember from earlier, or you have to go back, 1 pound is the same as 16 ounces, and I need 5 pounds. So I'm looking to see how many ounces that is. And this is an equivalent fraction. So pounds and ounces. So let's figure it out. 1 times 5 gives me 5. So I'm going to do 16 times 5 to see how many ounces that is. So let's do it. 16 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. So that's the same thing as 80 ounces. Okay, so I'm going to need 80 ounces of chocolate, and I want to see how expensive that is. So let's think. I can roll my 8s until I get to 80. 8, 16, 24, 32, and I can keep going. So how many times does it take to get from 8 to 80? It takes 10. 8 times 10 is 80. So let's multiply the $2 times 10. And what do I get? 80 ounces of chocolate is going to cost $20. So which is the better deal? Which is cheaper, if I buy the chocolate in pounds or I buy the chocolate in ounces? If you compare them, 80 ounces of chocolate, which is the same as 5 pounds of chocolate, costs $20, or 5 pounds of chocolate, which is the same as 80 ounces, costs $15. This way buying the chocolate in pounds is cheaper than buying the chocolate in ounces. So what are my reflections? To convert between pounds and tons, we need to remember that 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. To convert between ounces and pounds, we need to remember that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. If we are converting pounds to tons, our number gets smaller because a ton is much larger than a pound. If we are converting pounds to ounces, our number gets bigger because an ounce is much smaller than a pound. For customary weight conversions, we set the problems up by creating fractions and using multiplication to find the missing part of the fraction. So we're creating equivalent fractions and finding the missing part. So here are your 2 follow-up problems for today. Convert 3.5 or 3 5/10 tons to pounds. Convert 6 pounds to ounces. Questions. If you have any questions about what I talked about in the video, please let me know by emailing me your responses or messaging me on Dojo. Also, remember all of you have a Google Meets meeting with me sometime this week. Can't wait to see you there. Have a wonderful day. Bucky and I played a lot outside this weekend with his ball and just sat on the steps watching the world.